And race fans, welcome to the heart of the Mid-Atlantic, right off Interstate 95. Richmond, the place we're doing battle tonight. Good evening. I am Matt Mettler, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, the voice that you're normally used to hearing each and every night, Austin Green. And man, are we set, action-packed, ready to rock and roll here in prime time for 200 hot laps around Richmond International Speedway.
Yeah, we're making a stop at the last short track of the season, and you might notice that I am not the host here tonight, having some PC trouble, so that's getting worked on. But Matt, of course, appreciate you filling in here tonight, and I'm a little bit under the weather as well, so kind of a little bit of a double shot. But yeah, I'm excited to get this one going. We still got a strong field, and playoffs are getting closer. That means a lot of guys are going to start getting desperate.
That's a great point. A lot of guys are going to start getting desperate. And you mentioned a strong field. How about 29 drivers locked and ready to do battle? As Larry McReynolds always said, the nighttime is the right time for some high-flying, high-action racing here in prime time as this field gets set, ready to roll behind that iRacing.com pace car. And while we have a moment, let's go ahead and pull up tonight's race information. Of course, you know the place. This is Richmond International Speedway. And of course, 83 degrees ambient air temperature, 43% relevant humidity. Picturesque evening, partly cloudy, winds at 4 miles an hour. And you guys strapped in at home, want to thank everyone for joining us here, right here on Ghost Racing Network, as that field now begins to roll behind that iRacing.com pace car. Let's go ahead and get the timing tower up for all you folks here ready to follow at home.
Ready for a good one. We're not going to have a chance, it doesn't look like, to get through all the drivers of the lineup, as I think iRacing's only going to give them one lap here. They might get two, but either way, looking at the front two here, about Tyler Marble and Austin Fitzgerald, shouldn't surprise you to see those two up front. I think that's going to be the case pretty much the entirety of the night, but we talked about it last short track of the season. There might be a little bit more tempers, and with the move that we saw in the real-life race just yesterday, it's going to be interesting to see if anybody tries to bump and run at the end of this one.
You know, so much controversy sparked about that end of that race last night. Some people love it, some people hate it. The old Intimidator fans, myself included, I felt that was almost spiritual, like Earnhardt Sr. was driving the car. A lot of the newer fans, though, not so much the case. And Austin, to your point, I think it's very possible we could see a similar move here. Again, when it all comes down to the end, it's all about the win. But that's the best part about broadcasting these races. You're going to have to stick with us right here on GRN, from the green flag to the checkered flag, as that iRacing.com pace car pulls off.
All right, well, here we go. Pace car makes a left turn into the Geico restart zone. Green flag.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we may have just lost Austin there due to some technical difficulties, but nonetheless, green flag in the air, now working lap 3 of 200. As the 48 of Marble has a commanding lead right now over the 74 of Fitzgerald. Clark in that 00, he is hot on his trail, and in fact, it's a Noah's Ark situation just behind the 99 there of Mueller. In fact, we got one car going high up in that third groove. Well, I shouldn't say third groove, more like a second groove here, but he was up in the nosebleeds, and that should have been the 4 of Glosso, as he is now up to that 7th place position. Almost a diamond formation. You don't want to see that, as we got some hard World War II style trench warfare racing going on right inside the top 5. See a big move there being made by Mueller. In fact, he just goes the fastest time of the race. He just clocked in a 22:66. And those laps, those speeds should pick up as this track temperature goes down as we transition from dusk to the nighttime.
I'll tell you what, Matt, hate to cut you off, but I mean, the Riot Motorsports group, you know they're going to be fast, and looks like I am having a little issues on my end. Again, just trying to do it from a laptop, but sounds like the mic is not responding too well to that, and had a little bit of connection trouble, so I think I'm going to go ahead and probably dip out here tonight. Looks like you're doing a phenomenal job with coverage already, so I appreciate you trying to have me in, and let you go for this one.
Austin, I appreciate all your help getting me set up, and I'm going to try and do the best I can. You do a fantastic job, and I'm just trying to be like you as we got a couple problems there on the racetrack. The 96, he's going to go around. That's going to be Jacob Masso going to throw out the first caution for incident, and that is going to be our first yellow flag on the night, currently working lap 7. Let's go back to the GRN instant replay and find out what went wrong here as we go to the eye in the sky. See the 99 working the bottom. Oh, he just comes up and catches the 30 right on the business end, and around he goes when that car is just loaded up in the corner. You know, it's on the verge of out of control. You're trying to carry as much momentum you can through that section of the racetrack, and around she goes. The good news, all 4 corners are still on that ZL1 Chevrolet Camaro. Catastrophe avoided here early. Is this going to give the chance, or the field a chance, to get restacked, ready to rock and roll as we now cycle back to the live side of things here from Richmond? Again, want to thank Austin so much for helping me get this coverage set up this evening, as I am no Austin Green, but I'm going to try and give these guys the best show I possibly can up here in the Ghost Racing, or the GRN broadcast booth. Sometimes you think about things before you say it, and it just stumbles. It comes out all wrong. But currently, right now, Tyler Marble carries the torch here. So we're now working lap 9 of 200. Lights on the pace car. Don't think we're going to see anyone come down pit road quite yet, unless perhaps you have a little damage you need to get repaired on that machine. Again, if you're following along, new to Ghost Racing Network, the easiest way to join the family, smash the like button, ring the bell, come home to 6 days of high-flying, high-octane racing action right here on Ghost Racing Network. Also, want to give a shout out to our series sponsors here tonight. Cannot do it with all the help of those men and women behind the scenes, especially Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. Go see them for all things wheel related. They'll put the vibe back in your ride. That is Alloy All Wheel Repair. Again, Matt Mettler up here in the broadcast booth, filling in for Austin Green. He's currently undergoing some PC overhaul. Will be back better than ever. But right now, I'm just trying to hold the fort down for him. As those lights now go out on that iRacing.com pace car. In fact, Austin Fitzgerald, what do you say we go on board with him for this restart? So he's going to fire off on the outside lane here. The Las Vegas man's going to have the plan. Dynamic Autosports FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Pace car is going to pull off here. Marble's going to have the button on the inside. Austin here on the outside. Oh, they almost banged doors in touch. Green flag back in the air. These V8s come roaring gloriously back to life here in prime time. And I believe Fitzgerald is going to be able to clear him and get the lead. Let's go ahead and widen things back out, and he does. That's how you get it done on the restart. You catch the field on the snooze button a little bit, and things happen. Oh, and just as I say that, here comes Clark. He's not having any of that. He's going to send it in there like grandma's business on the bottom. And he's going to retake the lead here from Fitzgerald. Now we're single file working back. There's GT Hawkins there in the 5 ride, that TRD powered machine. And like the marketing slogan says, Toyota, let's go places. That's where Hawkins is going. He is coming to the front. Oh, we got someone locking up the tires here as we're 3 wide. It looks like something out of the air show, the Blue Angels. Oh, there we go. He's going to get a taste of the fence. And the driver of that Mustang did not hit the brake. He just stood on it and drove right through him. That's going to be caution number 2. Believe that involving Tracy Powers. Let's go back here to the Ghost Racing Network. Instant replay. 3 wide, never a good thing. The 25 just comes up, gets up close and personal. Gets turned around into the fence. They quickly have a speed date. Get that out of the way, and he's going to park it there, pointing backwards. Up there in the catch fence. Wait for the field to clear. Catch a gear, and off they go. In fact, let's cue this back one more time. Slow things down a little bit. And let's go on board. You can see where this contact start trying to correct, and there's just not enough time there. Tracy Powers just gets sent in to that safer barrier. Then he holds on, does the slide for life here. Great job by the rest of these drivers, having great situational awareness and able to avoid catastrophe. This racetrack, once it starts to get plugged up, your escape routes seem to disappear. And that's 2 times now we've had a lot of heads-up drivers just having that situational awareness to be able to stay out of these things. We're going to have to slow things down here once again. Just now working caution number 2 on the evening. So Clark, the 00, up 3 spots from where he started. He is one of the biggest movers inside of the top 10. As he's 3 positions to the good. The 74 of Fitzgerald, who was electrifying on that restart. He is even with the board in that Chevrolet ZL Camaro. The 5 of GT Hawkins, even with the board as well. He rolled off. He took the initial green flag in 3rd. He resides in 3rd. Tyler Marble, probably one of the biggest losers here in the short going, as he slid back 3 positions. He now occupies that 4th place position. And Michael Mueller in the 99 ride up 3 in that 5th place position. Scott Bartlett, Scott Glasso, if I say any of these names wrong, I deeply apologize. Ty in the 19, currently residing in 8th. Christian Washin up 3 positions in 9th. And Brian Coughlin, I see you. This man started back in the other county. He's not up 3 spots, not 10. He's already up 13 positions in that Chevrolet Camaro. He has got a bad, fast hot rod here tonight. Keep your eye on Coughlin. That is the 37 machine. As we get this field rack stacked, ready to rock and roll. Wait for that iRacing.com pace car to pull off, and it does. Clark's going to fire off here, slam the gas pedal through the floorboards, climb up through the gearbox again, and let's do this thing. Great restart execution there by Clark. He was trying to get out of Dodge quick, fast, and in a hurry, and I don't blame him because he's got a hungry swarm of Hornets behind him. That car looks really implanted very well into the racetrack right now. You're not seeing him twitch, do the jig coming up off the corners. This is a very methodical, very rhythmic racetrack, and as a driver, you want to be able to transition into that rhythm, bust the rust off, calm the nerves a little bit. Some of these drivers, I knew myself included, I'll get those pre-race jitters, and the one thing I want to do after we get that initial green flag is just get out there to the business side of things. And in fact, Clark is pulling away right now as he just set the new hot lap in town. He just ran a 22.58, which blisters the old fast lap of a 22.66. In fact, as we go on board with Clark, you can see that margin, how it continues to grow over the competition. Clark, of course, from Haymarket, Virginia. Perhaps this could very well be his home track. Oh, we got trouble on the speedway as we're on board with Clark. There goes the neighborhood. Sometimes cautions breed cautions. Ooh, the 25 there is still kind of out of sorts. I believe this also could have involved Tracy Powers once again in the 25. Let's go ahead and slow this down here. What in the world is the replay there? Just decided it wanted to do its own thing. Let's re-roll that back. Slow it down. It's going to pop off here right in front of him. The 34 is just going to get jiggy with it, literally. The big cut made exactly what he did. He literally kamikazes right across Power's face, turns him into mincemeat, makes him just absolutely smoke the safer barrier, the inside retaining wall. He goes helicopter mode, and he's going to come to a stop. Absolutely incredible. Let's go ahead and roll this back one more time. Slow it down. Just watch what happens. All right. The replay gods are not being nice with us tonight. Sometimes third time's a charm. And roll it. Slowing it down. Watch the 34 big cut Dark Horse Mustang. That's where the fuse is going to get lit. And this car is just going to get buck nasty on him. It just steps out. He puts the power down. The tires aren't like, nope, I don't feel like hooking up. Going to just bonsai right in front of Powers. Has no choice but to just absolutely obliterate the side of the 34. He gets set into the inside retaining wall. Almost catches a piece there of the 16. He squeezes by. And you got two cars tore up in the fence. That's going to be moderate damage for both of those drivers. We go back to the live side of things here. Once again on Ghost Racing Network. Clark continues to lead. Because these guys are getting a lot of restart practice here early. Again, I am Matt Mettler up here in the Ghost Racing Network broadcast booth. Want to thank everyone once again for turning in for some great short track racing here in prime time. And a very interesting look to the front of that Toyota. Currently out there leading at the point. It almost looks like a Nissan GTR front clip on there. I know it's not, but just the resemblance of the headlights a little bit. 2x2 racked and stacked. Here we go again. Little Ford on, or little Toyota on Chevrolet action on the front row. Let's see if Clark catches these guys on the snooze button here. I doubt he's going to get them again. You know, a lot of drivers say, what's the best cadence for a restart? No cadence. You don't want these guys to be able to guess when you're going to go. You also got to make sure none of these guys try to slip back and roll the start on you as well. This looks like to be a good one. They're clean side by side into the Geico restart zone. And we're back to action here at Richmond. And Clark shoots out of a cannon. Looks like he's got an all-wheel drive and an extra 200 horsepower out of these restarts. He just takes off. It is getting hot and heavy on the high side of the racetrack. GT, my favorite Hawkins, in the Toyota. He's going to pull the slide job up on the Fitzgerald there. That's going to move Austin back to that third place possession. GT, hard on the move. He is now in second. As we are side by side, Noah's Ark situation there for fourth. That's Mueller, who continues to climb the scoring pylon there in the TRD powered machine. In fact, he's taking the high line around this place, and oh, he gets a piece of the wall. So he's going to charge on here. That's going to open the door for the four of Glasso in the Dark Horse Mustang. You know, you can run that outside lane, but that typically absolutely hammers that right rear tire. Really easy to overheat it, cook that thing off, and once that happens, you're holding on. Doing the slide for life. In fact, new fast lap of the race. Clark's just continuing to put down some blistering lap times at a 22.53. Ryan Coughlin up. Now 11 spots in that 12th place position. Looking for the biggest mover of the race. That belongs to Wes Hurd Jr., who was up 14 positions. So he started back in the woods, and he has already cracked the top 15. Great drive from this man early, as he is side by side with the 17 machine there. So John Force special going down the front straightaway there, side by side at the turns 1 and 2 complex. There's another driver dedicated to getting that high line to work, and he does. He's able to check the box, take another spot for Wes Hurd. Let's send the battle back up to the front. And this time, Clark is not getting away from GT how he was able to the last time. In fact, the first two cars, Clark and GT, have opened up about a car length and a half on Fitzgerald, who currently runs in that third place position. In fact, let's go on board with Fitzgerald, see how he's getting around this place. In fact, we'll throw up his telemetry for you guys as well. There we go. That's going to be at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen for you folks at home. These cars do have 5 gears available. Most of these drivers staying in 4th. And you can see as he puts the power down, he is not shifting before he gets hard on the binders. Hits 5th gear there, getting the most out of that car he can. But, you know, being in 5th gear, that's going to transition. Notice how he downshifted before he got back into the corner. You know, the balance of this race car, how it reacts under braking, that's going to change versus if he comes into that corner in 5th or 4th gear, depending on how your car is driving. You can sometimes use those gears to your advantage to help get that car into the corner and initiate rotation. Fitzgerald's doing a heck of a job here early. Go ahead and widen things back out. Oh, it's a 3-for-all. Oh, we're banging doors and more. Is that Mueller in the 48? Oh, Tyler Marble, excuse me, who was banging doors with the Coca-Cola ride. That's just typical short track racing, as Denny Hamlin would like to say. Denny had a lot to say last night. Oh, hold on to it. You know, we're just at about that point in time in the run where the 99 almost got the don't stain your ride, use Tide moment of the race as that back end almost completely washed out on him. You know, this is almost that point in time in the run. You're 40 laps in, you know, these cars are going to start to let you know that we have some tire wear going on in those rear tires. They go from Dr. Feel Goods to Dr. Feel Bads. And if you push these Goodyears and abuse them, this is right about the time where that will start to show as we see that 27 machine taking a peek here to the inside. He's going to send it, eating hard on the bottom, side by side with Mueller. Piloting that Chevrolet is going to be Jeff Shutt. And again, a lot of new faces here for me tonight. I'm going to do the best I possibly can for Austin. Does such a great job for this series, because they still don't have it sorted. They are still duking it out You could pitch a 10 over these two. They're so close together. Oh, that's where it's going to go. He's going to get sent. He's going to go end around. Watch out. Oh, he's going to get a clip. He's going to get ripped and popped. Oh, my God. It's a full-fledged 4-car, 5-car affair as we got parts raining into the grandstands. In the words of Bill Collins, I could see that coming in the air tonight. Multiple drivers involved here. You got Michael Mueller, Michael Zook, Kyle Oakley. I mean, the list just keeps growing. Slow this thing down. I'm on replay. Please work with me here. I'm going to cue this back again. Slow things down. I believe this may be a little further back from where the action kicked off, and you can see the tires smoke. Actually, we're going to reload this replay here. We're going to come back here. Okay, so that's the 39. Looks like you initially is going to spark this thing off here. So there we go. Now we can slow it down. Just gets loose off the top there, makes contact. He's going to come down. Nowhere to go as he's got the 19 there. He's going to get spun. He's going to come back up the racetrack. All these drivers hard on the binders now. The 37 is going to catch a piece. That's going to cause him to go into spin mode. The 12 and the 99 have a meeting of the minds. You see the bumper cuppers take off, go raining into the grandstands. The 72 is going to administer a schnookering shot. So he gets spun around and takes that one literally to the face. The 17 is not going to be able to squeak through on the bottom. That's going to be a 1-2 whack-a-mole situation. The 35 gets free, or springs free through that one. Because like I said, we have parts raining literally from the heavens. You know, in fact, let's go on board with the 72 here. Take a look at this from his advantage. Gonna go VHS mode here and try to roll this back. We'll wind this back here. Now going live. This at speed. You see the smoke pop off in front of him. Going to slow it down. You can see him hard on the, starts to get on the binders. You see those RPMs coming down. Smoke trying to find a path through. The parting of the red season. Here's the 99 and Kapooey. He's going to send it in there like grandma's business and absolutely obliterate. And now you have a new moving target out there on the racetrack. Watch this. The 35's tried to find a way to sneak through there. He's going to barely get through there on the bottom. There's just parts of these race cars literally raining on the racetrack and in the stands. That one was heavy. So we now go back to the live side of things. GT Hawkins. Two Toyotas going to share the front row. Hawkins on the outside, Clark on the inside. Into the Geico restart zone we go. Green flag back in the air. And these glorious V8s come roaring back to life. And golly, is Clark good when it is time to get going. Clark going to go way up the racetrack here. Perhaps he missed the corner, and that's going to check the box. Move GT Hawkins to the front. Camry's pass off the torch is now the 5, leads his first laps of the race as we're 50 laps in to this 200-lap event. GT has got some pace in that ride, by the way. Last time by, he just ran a 23 flat. In fact, he just went fast lap of the race on lap 51, 22:48. Oh, as we got things really heating up here inside the top 5. Christian Lucian, Alston Fitzgerald. All hard racing here. And again, the racing line really not that big. In order to make things happen, you really got to put some pressure on that guy in front of you. Click up the excitometer, try to get him to mirror drive, make a mistake, make him miss the corner. That'll give you an opportunity, or you could always just use the chrome horn, as we've seen a lot of that, especially on the final lap in Richmond last night. You know, if wrecking one car wasn't enough, Austin Dillon, you know, went for the two-car house special, if you will. Took out Joey Logano and then clipped Little Denny in the process. You know, if you heard it from Hamlin after the race, you know, he was upset about it, but he said he can't blame him. I was shocked that he said that, but, you know, Denny was right. If you're sitting there outside the top 30 in points and you're in position to win a race, you're going to do everything you possibly can to put that car in victory lane, and he did. He absolutely obliterated Joey Logano and made sure he got a piece of the 11 to get that win. And boy, has it sparked a lot of controversy. Hey, but you know what they say, there's no such thing as bad PR. It's great for the sport from that, you know, from that standpoint. Just curious if NASCAR is going to do anything about it. We're going to have to wait and see here. As Hawkins now opens up almost a 0.7 of a second lead over Scott Glasso. In fact, if you pull up the time delta there, you can see how that gap is actually starting to shrink a little bit. This last time by, they actually ran the same lap time, a 22:66 to a 22:66. That lead stabilizing. Glasso could start trying to reel him in here momentarily. Well, we have time to take a quick check on the weather. Track temperature still at 89 degrees, partly cloudy skies, 46% relevant humidity, 82 degrees ambient air temperature. That wind picked up a little bit, gusting to 6 miles an hour, but still at these lower speeds should be a non-factor in this race tonight. Sim time checking in at 19:54 or 7:54 p.m. as we start to transition from day to dusk, and then obviously to night. And that's where I think you're really going to see the biggest changes from this racetrack. You know, comers and goers. You know, will these guys like GT, Glasso, Fitzgerald, Marble, Gutierrez continue to be up here when we're 30, 40 laps to go? They clearly have the speed now, but are they going to be able to maintain that performance when the lights go down? Let's go ahead and get that out of the way for you guys at home. Kind of getting a little strung out here at the front, so let's go through the field. We say we go on board with these drivers as well. Currently leading right now, that's going to be GT Hawkins. Columbus, Ohio man representing well here tonight in prime time as he currently has the lead. In that second place position, you'll find the first Ford in line. That's going to be Scott Glasso from Fargo, North Dakota. So the High Plains riding here in second. So he currently works about 0.6 of a second off your leader. In third, another Ford from Brooklyn, Iowa. Not Michigan. That's Michigan. I didn't know they had a Brooklyn, Iowa iRacing Coke 600 winner. Christian Lashin. He currently owns that third and final podium at the place position. Your first Chevrolet tonight being piloted by Austin Fitzgerald in the 74. Does the Las Vegas man have the plan? Perhaps he goes full-blown high-stakes mode to pull one out here tonight. You never know. But we know here right now he runs in that fourth place position and just inside the top 5. Buffalo, New York. I'm from Buffalo, New York originally. Now down here in Florida. But one of my hometown boys, Tyler Marble, currently runs in 5th. Great to see someone else representing here from Western New York in the 48 machine. Currently runs in 5th. Danny Gutierrez, currently up 9 spots from where he started. Having a great run this far, keeping that car lean and clean. Currently in that 6th place position. And the 27 being piloted by Jeff Shutt, currently resides in that 7th place position, up 4 spots from where he started. Not sure if that's Salem, North Carolina, Salem up in the Northeast, but definitely from Salem. I believe that's No Excuses Racing. Ty in the 19 ride from Point Pleasant. Holds on to that 8th place position. Slid one back from where he started. He started in that 7th spot. Now currently holds on to that 8th place position. Greg Bartlett, another Chevrolet here inside the top 10 in the 77. Currently up 1 spot from where he started. And the biggest mover of the race inside the top 10, that's going to be Brian Conklin in the 37 from Chesterfield, Virginia. So perhaps this is a home track for him as well. Team Marble Racing. The 37 currently owns that last spot inside the top 10 in 10. Quick shout out here to these guys. FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. That's Thomas O'Hara in the Toyota, currently in 11th. Jeffrey Souza in 12th, up 15 positions in that 96 machine. Holding it down in 13th, that's going to be Jacob Massow in the 95 ride Chevrolet. 14th belongs to Jake Hickson. He is up 14 spots. So some really big movers just outside the top 10 here from Harrison, Tennessee. We talked about him a lot earlier, had some trouble out on the racetrack. And another Buffalonian, Jeff Marble. So the Marble boys are got to be Buffalo Bills fans. It's great to see some people back from where I'm from. There in Western New York as we widen things back out and send it back up to the point. Oh, and just in time as we got some side-by-side racing here going on. As Hawkins able to best Lashin, 74 laps into this affair. You know, when you're a fan of manufacturers, you have one Toyota up here carrying the torch, then he's being chased down by 2 Toyotas of Glasso and Lashin. Last time by GT Hawkins ran a 23.15 to Lashin's 23.23. So a 23.23. So Hawkins clearly still is faster. If you're one of these these drivers right now, right now you got to be patient out there on the racetrack. You cannot win it on lap 1. You can't win it on lap 76. And sometimes you just got to be patient out there and just ride, just trim some of these laps off. And that's very well what could be going on right now. We say to the byproduct of the hard racing earlier, had a couple cautions very early. Now this is our longest green flag stint of the night here. Little side-by-side action there. There's a battle for position. Fitzgerald and Glosso. In fact, let's go on board with the 48, Tyler Marble. Things are getting hot and heavy in his camp. Oh, he gets a little loose off the corner. You see that counter input on the steering wheel. That car is starting to get a little twitchy out there on the racetrack. And watch me, throws his car down to the corner, leaves it in 5th gear. There is a downshift. Okay. You can see him. Oh, he gets loose there off the corner. That he's really starting to have to manhandle these race cars as these tires, the laps on these Goodyear Eagles start to pile up. Still utilizing 5th gear and still being, don't want to say aggressive on quarter entry, but he is still driving. He is driving his tail off right now. He's currently trying to chase down Austin Fitzgerald. That's the Camaro in front of him. And if that's not enough, you peek around to the backside of things. You go to the rear bumper camera. You have a hungry Danny Gutierrez in that Dark Horse Ford Mustang, who was up 10 positions, I might add, now inside the top 5. In fact, Tyler Marble's starting to really open it up now on that next group of cars. Now looking out the back of Danny Gutierrez. He's got a face full of Jeff Shutt in that ZL1. And in fact, this is a great battle here on the racetrack. Let's go ahead and widen things back out. So Gutierrez currently owns that 5th place position, but he is under siege right now. He is absolutely getting peppered by Shutt. You can see he's being like the intimidator of old, just swarming the back of that race car, trying to get him to make a mistake. Kind of up to the high side of the racetrack there. Gutierrez kind of threw the block on him a little bit. It's not going to throw the block twice. He's going to open the door on the bottom. That's allow the 27 to pull side by side, but he's not able to put the power down. As he's not able to come up the racetrack. Let's see if they pull the squeeze job on each other. This is where it gets dicey, coming out of 4. Another John Force special down the front straightaway as they haul it back into the turns 1 and 2 complex. Board on Chevrolet action. The 27 I thought was going to be able to clear him. But the 08 of Gutierrez gets a great run on the high side of the racetrack. And now the 27 is going to try to squeeze up and does. Check the box. Pass for the... They're out on the racetrack. We start to close in on lap 100. Now working 87 of 200. And if you're just turning in, welcome to Ghost Racing Network. And you're currently watching some high-flying, high-octane racing action as the FastTrack Cup Series presents a thriller here in prime time. I'm Matt Mettler up in the Ghost Racing Network broadcast booth. Austin, of course, cannot thank him enough for helping me get this set up for tonight as I fill in for him. He tried to join me at the top of the broadcast, was having some communication issues, but still great to have him at least for a part of this broadcast, a series that means so much to him. I'm happy to be here filling in for him tonight and be along with you guys. Welcoming you into your homes, onto your phones, however you're watching this great content here on Ghost Racing Network. Don't be shy. Don't, like, subscribe, share, help us grow the family. It's a great battle here. Holden 19 is just a tie. Gave him the back bumper, laying it to him on the business end. Almost looked like they were it was Talladega there for a minute. They were literally connected. Oh, we get squirrely, big time blues coming off the corner there. That's going to be the Toyota of GT Hawkins. Remember, he was leading. Now it looks like Marble able to get the lead from him. His GT is now suddenly slid back to third. And that means Tyler Marble in the Coca-Cola machine has taken the lead. Check the box. It's party time out in front. Austin Fitzgerald, another Chevrolet, also able to go to the point. In fact, he may be challenging for that position. If something's up with Hawkins, he has fallen off a cliff here. Remember, he was the fastest car on the racetrack, perhaps just ran a little bit too quick of a pace here. Those tires are starting to, those Dr. Feelgoods become feel-bads. I mean, last time by, he just ran a 24. Just want to make sure I'm seeing this right. Yeah, he just ran a 23.88. And the other drivers are still in the 23.3s, 23.4s. So, yeah, he is off the pace right now. You can see GT trying to find another line around this racetrack. This is currently under siege right now from Danny Gutierrez. We were just watching him moments ago having a great battle on the racetrack. Everyone is putting GT in the pressure cooker right now. Back up to the front. Tyler Marble still holds on to the point here. Still ripping the bottom in that 48. The car has great long run speed. You see just how balanced it is. Doesn't seem to be fighting it into the corner. Still able to get that car to turn all the way down. And when he picks up the power on exit, you really don't see the back of that 48 stepping out really at all on him. And that's pretty much the same case for Fitzgerald in that 74 as he runs just inches off of the back bumper of that Camaro. You're joining us live here in the chat. Sound off, letting us know who you're pulling for. Don't forget, a lot of times you start cheering for these drivers, they know you're cheering for you. They know you're cheering for them. They start driving harder for you. I've seen it time and time again. Believe me, these guys appreciate you showing up here, cheering on, whether they're family, friends, having that support in the live stream. Sometimes can be all the difference in how these races turned out. So drivers tend to get up on the wheel just a little bit harder and fight a little bit more. This time by at the line, we have written 100 laps or 99 laps in the history books. Now working lap 100, halfway through the scheduled distance here tonight. And that's going to also throw the caution flag out on the racetrack. It'll be a stage break here this evening. Allow these drivers opportunity to come down pit road, make any necessary adjustments to this race car. And you guessed it, folks. It's going to basically shuffle the deck, stack these boys on top of each other. That iRacing.com pace car now pulls out on to the racetrack. And as they slow things down on the racetrack, we're going to step aside, take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to go out all access coverage. You're not going to miss anything right here on Ghost Racing Network. Race fans, good evening and welcome back to the Mid-Atlantic here at Richmond International Raceway. As pit stops completed, those lights are out on the pace car, and we get set to get ready to go back to that high-flying, high-octane racing action. Good evening. Welcome back to Ghost Racing Network. As I said, want to thank all you guys for sounding off here in the live chat tonight. Austin Green, of course, I appreciate the compliment. Extreme Sim TV checking in, a friend of mine, and he said it's hotter than a tornado in a trailer park. Drift Style said Hawkins fighting for his life out there right now, and he absolutely was. His green flag back in the air. These glorious V8s come roaring back to life here under the stars in Richmond. You know, these tires going to have all the grip in the world they're possibly going to have right now at the start of this run. That's where we see things get hot and heavy out there on the racetrack. 2x2, side by side. It's a Noah's Ark situation there. The 27 of Lucian working on the bottom side of the racetrack. Jeff Shutt trying to shut him out of the spot, and he's going to kick it. He's going to kick it a nickel, throw it into high gear, and send it off the corner. And that dark horse is going to overtake that third place position, as he's now up 9 spots from where he started. Fitzgerald out there continues to lead over the 48 of Tyler Marble. Remember, that's my Buffalonian Western New York native there in the 48 machine. Keep your eye on the Coca-Cola ride. He's really starting to dial up the business. In fact, knocking on the back door, it's not delivery, it's Tyler Marble. I thought he was going to give him a little tappy-tappy. He thinks better of it. There's still plenty of time in this racetrack, and once you deploy that chrome horn, ladies and gentlemen, it is game over. All gloves and all bets are off from there. So if you're going to use it wisely. And the last thing you want to do is leave enough time on the table for that driver to repay the favor. And if you think they won't, oh dear God, that is not the case. I assure you they will. And we've seen it time and time again. A little bit further in the field, that 08 ride, that fast track dark horse Ford Mustang. Sporting some Ghost Racing Network colors on that race car, Danny Gutierrez. Let's go on board with the 08 machine. Listen to that throttle control and modulation as he rolls off the throttle here. Listen how this car gets down to the corner. Listen how disciplined this driver is in his throttle control. Into the corner. Watch those RPMs, folks, at home. Now puts the power down methodically. He's going to take a peek to the inside. Go on board of the GoPro camera as he's going up against the 27 of Jeff Shutt, but he's going to slam the door closed. They're going to rack it up and do it again. We widen things back out as it's starting to get good in the neighborhood up front of this thing. Oh, you can see a little bit of a wiggle there from Lucian. You don't want to see that early in the run. The last thing you want to do is start to overheat these tires. It's very sensitive on this race car. Remember, we have a multi-link independent rear suspension. The truck arms are gone. The very first major overhaul we've had in Cup Series competition. We've got multi-link independent rear suspension. The H pattern of the 4-speed era is gone. 5 gears now. That 08 is on a mission right now. Gutierrez is just charging. He is on the afterburner. Forget military power. He's got stage 5 afterburner lit in that Mustang right now. He is hard on the charge. You can see those brakes beginning to glow. He is getting everything he can right now out of that dark horse. This battle up front starting to heat up now between Fitzgerald and Marble. Two Chevrolets showing you how to get around this place. Textbook. Throw up our race information here once again. As you can see, folks, this track advertised is 3/4 of a mile, but technically it's 0.72. Here, of course, in the beautiful city of Richmond. So you do spend a lot of time here on the binders, on that brake pedal, but you're not jamming that pedal really hard to the floor all at once. It's progressive. It's almost a dance with the throttle, with the gas pedal and the brake pedal, the way that you transition off of one onto the other. And if you learn how to master that art, that really translates to speed out here on the racetrack. And in fact, let's go ahead and throw up the telemetry for your leader, Fitzgerald. That's going to be the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. About 105 miles an hour coming out of the corner. You can see when he puts the power down, he's going to grab 5th gear just for a moment. And then notices how he downshifts into the corner. That's going to help that car get wound up and also rotate. So not only are these drivers having to keep an eye on what's going on behind them, but hit their marks out there on the racetrack, but they're also shifting at the same time. So you're asking a lot of that driver inside the virtual cockpit of that race car. Tyler Marble right now could just be buying time, just being patient, being a disciplined race car driver. You know, just push the 74 just a little bit harder, make him run maybe perhaps harder than he needs to run, and then when it's time, you strike. And just as I say that, the 48 took a peek to the inside. The 74 threw it down like grandma's business on Sunday morning and said, I ain't having any of that. In fact, these two starting to pull away just a little bit from the 7 Ford Mustang. Christian Lucian, he's about 3/10 of a second now behind the 48. Then you have the biggest mover inside the top 5 right now, up 11 spots, is the 08 Dark Horse Ford Mustang of Danny Gutierrez. Jeff Shutt in that Chevrolet has been nothing but stellar out there on the racetrack tonight, up 6 positions from where he started. That car is clean. Just how you want it to be, 126 laps into one of these events. You don't want to use your car up early. You want to manage this. You also have to manage this race car, manage your equipment. A big part of this, being successful here at a place like Richmond, and that's exactly what Jeff Shutt is doing. And then you want to talk about the Rocket Man. We used to call Ryan Newman the Rocket Man, but Jeffrey Souza. Folks, do not blink your eyes at home. He's not up 6 positions. He's not up 12 positions. Not 20 positions. 21 for Jeffrey Souza. It has been anything but a snooze fest in this man's camp. He has been fighting, clawing up on the wheel. 21 positions in 128 laps. That is absolutely incredible. As he's had to claw his way from deep in the back of the field in this one. So don't forget, folks, we had 29 drivers take the green flag. Just about all of them still out there in a competition. In fact, Jared Bundy, the only car being scored off the racetrack at the moment. 28 out there, still making laps. Towards the back of the field right now. Remember, we were talking about him earlier. The big cut. He took a big swing out there. That car got just ugly. It went full-blown red-headed stepchild on him. He lost it, came flying back across the racetrack, caused a big melee to unfold. We had parts raining onto the racetrack into the grandstands, and yet here that car still continues to march on. Allen, of course, doing the best he can to hold on to this thing as he's currently residing in that 25th position. Kyle Oakley just up the road from him. That's for that 24th spot. He's currently going up against Wes Hurd Jr. in the 35, getting a little bit of a case of the blinkies. That's Brett Spade. Currently in that 22nd place position, so a little bit of connection problems. That happens from time to time on the servers. So we send it back up to the point here. As Austin Fitzgerald continues to lead over Tyler Marble. Now you see that 48's taking a little bit of a lower entry into the corner where Marble's taking a little bit of a lower entry into the corner where the 74 of Fitzgerald's arcing it in, and you can really start to see the brake rotor starting to glow orange. Watch the 48. That looks like lava coming out the rotors. In front of that race car, remember, we have carbon fiber ceramic rotors now. You know, the old brakes are ancient Stone Age compared to the new technology on these cars, and because of it, you get a lot more stopping power. The brakes can take a lot more abuse, but you can see just how much more the brakes on the 48 are glowing. That Austin Fitzgerald in the 74, perhaps he's got a little bit more of a balanced brake bias in the car for Fitzgerald, because they don't seem to be getting as hot. But you can definitely see some glow, but nowhere near to the degree that Tyler Marvel's are heating up. And again, that could just be preference. That could be by design, bias. A couple things you can do inside the cockpit of the race car to make, for that effect to happen. But however, he is getting it done. He has been the man with the plan as he is out front carrying the torch here at Richmond. That fifth place position for Jeff Shutt. Man, he has been fun to watch out here tonight. Jeffrey Souza, of course, in the 96, continues to be the biggest mover of the race. Just 21 positions. In fact, he may have actually got a little piece of the wall there, just a little bit. You see Souza Media on board the side of that race car. I'm going to assume they both have, Souza being his last name, that's going to be perhaps one of his initiatives. Looking for a media solution, check out Souza Media. You'll be glad you did. I believe that's Christian Laschen there in the 7. He's being shown in timing and scoring. However, out there on the racetrack, actually has a 3 on the side of that race car, so we'll take note of that up here in the booth. Just behind him in that Toyota, the Tyride. Toyota. That's the 17 that has the TRD machine, but we're talking about the 19, the Spartan Toyota, or the Spartan Ford Mustang. Currently even with the board. In fact, he's going to be under siege here in a moment. Is Massa Jacob in the 95 is currently lurking just a car length or so behind that 19. We widen things back out once again, working lap 142 of 200 here from Richmond. Green flag in the air, and this has been the longest green flag stint that we've seen. The only thing that slowed us down was that stage caution. We had a few cluster of cautions to start this race off, but once we got those jitters cleared and got our race faces on, if you will, able just to calm the nerves, get those jitters worked out, it's been all green flag action from there. Working lap 144, now 145. Coming out of the high side of the racetrack here, side-by-side affair between the 95 of Masso. He's going to send the Camaro in on the bottom. In fact, let's go on board with, I believe that's going to be the 19. Get a good close look at this up-close and personal battle. We hear a little bit of wheel spin there coming out of the 95. It's now going to take a peek to the inside. And just as I switch cameras to that side, they're going to do the crossover maneuver. Let's take it to the nose camera. He is all over there on the back of the 3 machine. Do we eventually? Oh, he's going to get a run here. He's going to go to the down to the inside of the racetrack. It's side by side into the quarter as they come out of the 3 and 4 complex. The 95 of Mossau. He is going to get the position. And he was so patient. He waited for that to happen. He didn't force the issue. He didn't slam him. He didn't ram him. Oh, we got Calamity behind him, though, as the 7 there had to check up. Now that's going to open the door for Lashin. You can see that Toyota gets loose there on the bottom. Going to cost him some momentum. It's now the 17 and the 19. They start duking it out. Trench World War II fair style. And now they get that sorted back to single file with just 50 laps remaining in this one. Fitzgerald continues to lead here live from Richmond. So he gets to run the lap car there. Had a lot of heavy damage to that 12 machine. That was one of the highlight wrecks earlier. Or a violent collision out there on the racetrack, and that pretty much sealed his fate there from a performance standpoint, as that car is just crippled right now, but still out there making laps, logging laps, and that's what you do as a race car driver. You know, you don't give, no quit. You just don't give up. You're out there getting every single point you can. And in fact, if I was a race team owner, that's exactly the kind of guy I'd want behind the wheel of my car. This Fitzgerald has now opened up a 1.3 second advantage over Tyler Marble in that Chevrolet. You can see there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen how Fitzgerald has been able to walk away from the competition. The longer he runs, the better Fitzgerald gets. Tyler Marble was able to hang with him there for some time. You see a little bit of a wiggle now out of the back of that Camaro. But right now, he can manage that lead. He doesn't have to. He's got almost a 2-second advantage. He's got 1.70 seconds back to that second place machine. He can start to manage this gap a little bit. He doesn't have to run the daylights out of that race car and force himself into making a mistake. In fact, now it's over 2 seconds. So clearly, perhaps something going on or starting to brew in the Chevrolet camp. His last time by, Marble ran a 23.85 to Fitzgerald's 45. And Jeff Shutt closing in quickly last time by. He ran a 23.54, and he is there. So it is starting to heat up for that second and third place position. In fact, Jeff Shutt thought about it. He took a big swing at it. Didn't have the run, so he checked it back in line. But he's going to restack, reset, get ready to try and pull that move again, as these laps now start to wind down. And he almost painted a bead on the back bumper of the 48. And in fact, let's go on board with Shutt. What a move there by Souza. Did you see that? Oh, this battle's way too good in the neighborhood. We're gonna have to widen this puppy back out as we're throwing at haymakers at each other here at Richmond. Souza sent it in there Bon Jovi style, living on a prayer. Now he's gonna take it to the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. It feels like we're running the last lap here at Richmond, folks, and I promised you guys when it got down to go time, these drivers would elevate and rise to the occasion, and they are doing just that right now. As Souza now takes over that second place. Tyler Marble gets slid back to that third place position, but Jeff Masso is hard and in charge, clawing at the back of that race car. In fact, he is now peeking to the inside, side by side, door to door. Will Jeff be able, or Jacob, excuse me, be able to make this pass? The 48 Marble's going to pinch him down here and not allow him to come up, get up off the corner. You see that wiggle out of that 95. Don't look now, but these two battlers side by side is letting Jeff Shutt close in on this battle and about to make it a three-way affair for that position on the racetrack. We now go on board with Shutt. He is there should Marble make a mistake. In fact, now Jeff's going to go to the high side of the racetrack. Let's see if he can get a run here off the top. Side by side, door to door drag race into the fifth gear, and here he comes hard into the braking zone. And they still don't have it sorted, folks, as now he may be able to clear. What a battle for that third place position. Is Jeff Shutt's going to take another one? No excuses, no problem, as Shutt keeps going to the point. Or towards the point, I should say. You're wondering about Austin Fitzgerald. He's currently on an island of his own right now. Biggest lead of the race for him. That is 2.5 seconds back to the second place competitor of Souza. Now, this is the other part. You have a very hefty lead here. You don't want to lose it because of lap traffic. You have no immediate reason to really force the issue here around these lap cars. I mean, Jeffrey Souza's pretty much passed everything else out there on the racetrack, up 25 positions. An incredible ride from that Ford, from that 96 Mustang. I understand he's being shown in the 4, but Timing and Scorum has him listed as the 96. It has been an absolute impressive drive from deep in the woods. In fact, heck, he started in the other zip code, as far as you ask me. But he is 2.7 seconds back as Austin Fitzgerald continues to have a stranglehold on the field, working through lap traffic. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all again for joining us right here on Ghost Racing Network. We're going to step aside, take our last break of the race. However, we're going all-out coverage. You're not going to miss a thing. Keep it right here on GRN. Race fans, welcome back to Ghost Racing Network, and the FastTrack Cup Series presents high-flying, high-octane racing action right here in Richmond. Oh, as it's a three-way affair into the corner. That almost could have been disastrous as we're on board with Thomas O'Hara. Is that just, woo! I felt the back of the hair on my neck stand up. I thought that was going to turn into a calamity corner. As we're now at just 24 laps remaining from the scheduled distance. Again, 200 folks. And for some reason, if we can't finish this race within the scheduled limits, we do have green, white, checkered. That's right, overtime is available in our back pocket on standby if we need it. We're going to give this race, all these drivers, every opportunity to finish this race under green flag conditions, which we have been now for quite some time since the initial start of this race. It was the only time we ever had a little bit of some, cautions that was right at the type of this, and ever since then, it has been all high-octane, high-flying racing action here from the FastTrack Cup Series. This has been an all-out, genuine dogfight here, just what you expect from these drivers. You know, we've seen it all from these guys. You've seen the patience, the poise, the situational awareness, being able to make split-second decisions, dodging cars, basically creaming out of control, parting the Red Seas, finding escape routes at times. Just the flawless driving, being methodical on the throttle pedal with the transitions from the gas, to the brake here to make good lap times. And oh my, here we go. The Coca-Cola man's getting rowdy now, folks. He's going to send it in down on the bottom. It's 20 laps to go, and it is time to boogie. You can see them continuing to battle side by side. Up 24 positions now in that third place position, Jeffrey Souza. He's done everything in this race but lead, literally. He's come from all the way deep in the field. Up 24 positions, currently has a podium spot. Does he have enough time to get a little more? Jacob Massau is currently 1.57 seconds ahead of him. He currently owns that second place position in the 95 Chevrolet. Austin Fitzgerald in that 74, that Camaro has really come alive. When the sun went down and those lights came on, it was like that car found another gear. As he is now 2.6 seconds ahead of Massau. Just basically out there on cruise control. Only one thing could really upset Austin Fitzgerald. In fact, if you want to make him madder than a Keebler elf that got demoted to Fudge Packer, throw a caution flag out right now and watch what happens to the 74 cap. You better have a counselor available at the pit box if you do, to get this driver calmed down after that. Something like that should happen. But he has been just absolutely flawless tonight with the drive out of the 74. Similar story for Masso. Continues to run out there in that second place position, up 4 spots from where he started. Very solid performance tonight from that Chevrolet. So 2 Chevrolets, the first Ford in line, Jeffrey Souza. You know how I feel about this man. Everything he's been able to accomplish tonight. Currently owns that third and final podium position in third. Looking for the closest battle on the racetrack. It's going to be right back to here. You guessed it. Jeff Marble, Thomas O'Hara. Excuse me. This with 14 laps to go. Well, these guys have been working at it for quite some time now. The 17 there, you see when he tries to pick up the throttle, though, he's just not able to get the go-go juice out of that Camry before the back tires just start to slip and you see that car slide, and that's only going to keep getting worse and worse. if he continues to do that. So he may gonna have to give it one more shot to try to cool those tires off a little bit here and make one more stab at it. As we are just 12 laps remaining in tonight's competition. On board here with Jeff Marble. Got Buffalo, New York, Western New York being represented very well in this league. My old stomping grounds before I joined the United States Marine Corps. If you think it's all fun and games out the front of his race car, you peek around to the backside, you got a little bit of a different story because you got Thomas O'Hara, who's knocking on the back door. It's not delivery, it is Thomas O. Should Jeff slip, make a mistake, I promise you that Camry will be there to clean up. You hear Jeff get a little bit loose, a little squirrely, trying to put the power down in that race car. Those good years starting to go to those Dr. Feelgoods, transitioning to Dr. Feelbads. We're now going to send it back up to the point. Austin Fitzgerald. 9 laps remaining. He's got some lap traffic in front of him once again. Again, he's got plenty of time. He's got over 2 seconds on Massa. Just needs to be patient right here, hit his marks. He has no reason to try and overdrive this Camaro. In fact, he could run right there for the next 6.5 laps. And it's game over. It's in the bag. However, it's never over until the checkered flag flies. Can't tell you how many races, folks, have been in a situation just like this and something just radical happens out there on the racetrack. It can really change the complexion in the face of this race. But that is not the case, or any inkling of that happening right now at this time. Jacob Massa in the 95 ride. That Camaro has been on point. Really digging the paint scheme on that race car. As he runs about 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds behind Fitzgerald. Ooh. That's not what we want to see right there, folks. You don't want to see any lap calamity. Then you got to go back now to Jeffrey Souza. He could be under duress here from Shutt, as he is closing in only a couple tenths back. In fact, this is hot and heavy for a position. You see the wiggle coming off the top side of the racetrack. Only 4 laps remaining. With now 3 laps to go, folks, we're going to turn our attention to the front of the field for Austin Fitzgerald. Less than 3 miles to go for the driver of the ZL1 Chevrolet Camaro. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps remaining for Austin Fitzgerald. As a driver, he has done everything that you've asked him to do tonight. He has been patient. He has taken his time. He has gone when you have asked him to go. And the Las Vegas man comes in here going high stakes mode. He's going to let it all hang out under the lights in Richmond, and 1 lap to go for Austin Fitzgerald. He's going to set it down to the turns 1 and 2 complex for the final time tonight. Going to rock it on the bottom. Hard transition over to the throttle pedal down the backstretch. And as he comes through turns 3 and 4, Austin Fitzgerald is going to get an epic win here in Richmond, Virginia. Nobody circles the wagons like Austin Fitzgerald. He's going to get the win in prime time, followed by Jacob Massa in second, Jeffrey Souza in third, Ty in the 19 machine in fourth, and Jeff Shutt in fifth. What a race, what a drive for these drivers. But know what? You take away from what Austin Fitzgerald has accomplished here tonight is he put on a clinic, short track racing style in that 74 as he burns the house down. What a drive for Austin Fitzgerald. So going to switch over to the ticker now. Going to do the Alan Kowicki Polish victory lap here. Again, made famous by the late, great Alan Kowicki. Tragically lost his life. But we still remember him today with winning moments like this out there on the racetrack. So Austin Fitzgerald was the man with the plan in the Mid-Atlantic. Let's see if he burns it down here at the start-finish line. So we now wait to talk to our top three drivers. And we have them lined up here. Give them all a minute here, and we got them. Jeffrey Souza, Matt up in the Ghost Network broadcast booth. You got a copy there, brother?
I got you, Matt. How we doing tonight?
Man, I don't know about you, buddy. I am absolutely fantastic after watching you come from another zip code up to the front of this field, up 24 positions, and you come home with a podium position. Jeff, how did you survive the carnage, the chaos, and be able to put on a drive like that to come home with a third? That is absolutely extraordinary what you accomplished tonight, sir.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. In the back there, we had a couple early accidents, a couple near accidents that didn't end up drawing the yellow flag, but they were definitely, some people definitely ended up with damage due to them, but we ended up getting through those, and once we were able to get green flag racing there, the thing was definitely on the rails, and we passed a lot of cars and just kept it in one piece.
I mean, it's almost an understatement. You passed a lot of cars. I mean, you passed more cars out there than anybody. And sometimes you had to pass these guys more than once, Jeff. How are you able at times just to make it look so easy? This track, it's difficult to get around. It's hard to pass here. And you made it look like clockwork. How were you able to get that done?
Yeah, week after week, because I run another race right before this one, so I usually don't end up making enough time to have qualifying here. But week after week, I end up starting back there, so I'm used to kind of having to save stuff early and then save my tires to have something for the long run. That first run, we usually go green and be able to pass some people. But when we were here in the springtime, it was kind of similar. We had a couple cautions early. I started in the back. I got up to maybe 20th or so, and then we had a long green flag run. I got up there into the top 5, and then started racing a couple of guys hard. Got pinched down on the apron a couple times and ended up making a mistake and spinning myself out. So luckily this time around, I got up there. No mistakes on my behalf. Good racing by everybody that I ended up racing with up there, and we ended up finishing off the solid run with a top 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff, you certainly laid out the blueprint of how to get it done from deep in the field here at Richmond, and what a drive you put on. Before I cut you loose, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on that Ford Mustang?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone out there at Triad. Tom O'Hara out there joins us in the chat every week. Greg Barlett that's in with us every week, as well as Andrew Russo. We got the top 3, Austin and Jacob. Jacob had a great run from the back as well after he got spun early. Austin has done a great job all season long. You for the broadcast tonight, and then the Marbles that do a great job every week running these things. Sousa Media sent Analyzer as well for helping put this number 4 car out there, or the number 96 car, my bad, out there on the track every week. And that's all I have for you tonight, Matt.
Well, Jeff, it's been a pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to know how to get it done here in Richmond from the back. Look no further than this broadcast as Jeffrey Souza was able to ride the mines, slip the tides, and get that Ford Mustang to the front with an incredible performance. Comes home in that third place position. Jeff, thanks again for joining us up here in the booth. You have a great rest of your evening, sir.
Sounds good. Hope to see you next week, too.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher tonight. Jacob, Matt up in the booth. You got a copy, bud?
I do.
Man, first and foremost, what a drive by you tonight. You started up near the front, but it wasn't always easy for you. You had to work your way back through traffic, and you had to avoid the calamity. How were you able to put together such an impressive performance here at Richmond?
Yeah, I spun there, trying to avoid running the back of the 99 there early, and I just kept my nose down and I was smooth. I didn't want to overdrive it and burn my right front up or run into somebody and cause a wreck. And there's for a little bit of stretch there. There was a couple cautions, and I was just lucky I escaped a few, like the one where the 99 and the 72 wrecked. I was pretty close getting collected in that one, but managed just to stay there and be smooth and just make sure I didn't overdrive it, because overdriving here kills your car and you'll be dead in the water.
You know, Jacob, you mentioned a critical point here. Overdriving the race car, burning up that right rear. Just how easy is it to do it at a racetrack like this, and what type of discipline do you have to have as a driver to be able to maintain your performance, especially over a green flag run like we had at the end there?
Oh, yeah, it's like you could burn your right rear up in 15, 20 laps here. There's little to no grip entering the corner, so the cars are pretty loose entering. So if you overdrive it and slide it, you're pretty much done. So for me, I come from a dirt racing background, so throttle control is one of my specialties, and I really think at short tracks like this in Phoenix, throttle, how to use your throttle is really going to save your right rear there. So I'm glad I had that, and just being smooth on your inputs of the wheel. I was a little heavy on him tonight, which I think cost me the race there, trying to move through traffic. But other than that, I think just being smooth and really, really light on your throttle helps a lot.
Okay, well said, and great analysis and breakdown. In fact, we went on board with you during the race and a couple other drivers, and I highlighted just how methodical and how much control and discipline you had on the throttle, and that was just an excellent performance tonight all around by you and the rest of the 95 crew. Before I cut you loose, man, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done?
Yeah, I'll thank all the boys at Fast A's Hot Rods, my brothers, Eddie, Joe, Corey. It's just a lot of fun with them guys. They don't run here, but they help me out a lot. And, yeah, just FastTrack Sim Racing, great league. I love running here. And you guys are awesome broadcasts. I love going back and watching it, if it's Austin or the other guy, I forgot his name, sorry. But, yeah, you guys are fantastic broadcasters.
Well, we certainly appreciate that. Austin came on for a quick moment at the start of the show. He should be back next week, so I let him know you said hello. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the driver of the 95 Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro. He was absolutely electric tonight and incredible over the long runs. And we went on board with him to watch you, the throttle control mastery inside the presence of that, inside the cockpit of the race car. Jacob, congratulations. We appreciate you. We'll speak to you next time.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your evening, sir.
You too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that means we got one man left to talk to. And this guy showed you how to get going here at Richmond. The winner of the race, Austin Fitzgerald. Matt up in the booth. You got a copy.
Hey, I got you, Matt.
Well, hey, man, first of all, congratulations. I don't think I've ever seen someone run a more flawless race at this place than what I just witnessed tonight. How were you able to execute on such a high level over 200 laps? It seemed like you never flinched over the course of that run at all.
Hey, well, thank you. Honestly, this is just my type of track, just my type of race where, long green flag runs. On the when we'd fire off, my car wasn't all that great. I could kind of, you know, hold pace with everybody else. But, just trying to save my stuff, I was kind of falling back a little bit on the start. So what helped is starting out in front, and I forget which lap it was, but I guess it was those last set of pit stops. I was able to, leapfrog Tyler in the pits right there, and that was big. Just edging out ahead of him, because being able to start up front and just kind of control the pace of the field, because especially when it goes green for the first 20, 30 laps or so, it's very much a one groove track, and then it starts to widen out. So if you could kind of have the lead and control the pace of everybody and just kind of wrap the bottom, you're able to keep the lead and just manage your stuff. And Tyler's keeping me honest there for a while, but it looks like he fell off on the long run. And then there's a couple people keep me honest. Jeffrey moved up, and Jacob was kind of coming in the end there. But luckily, yeah, I saved just enough to make it all the way.
Thank you for that excellent analysis and breakdown. And you're right, you did have some challengers there at time that were keeping you honest, working just a few inches off the bumper of your car at times. Were you driving just hard enough to keep them at bay behind you? And then once you felt like you'd saved enough, did you just hit the afterburner and let it fly? Because that's what it seemed like from up here in the booth.
What it felt like in the car is I was just letting the car come to me. I was always just trying to drive it a little bit under its limit, maybe more so at the beginning of the run to save tires, but I was never driving it at its full limit by any means. And so when it might look like, I'm going for it, it's really just when the car's starting to come to me and everybody's fading just a little bit more. Of course, there's those exceptions that, kind of, kept me honest in the end there. But yeah, the biggest thing here is, especially earlier in the run, not twitching too much, just kind of getting that straight entry and that straight drive off rather than rotating the wheel too much. And what helped is the setup today, it was just really good on the drive off of the corner. It was maybe a little slow in, but as long as I could protect that bottom, as long as I had the drive off and don't let anybody, beside me exiting the corner, then it makes it much easier to maintain your position.
Austin, you're reading my mind. I was just going to ask you how you got that car so balanced. You're absolutely right. On corner entry, that car did not move, wiggle. It was able to get down to the bottom and rotated beautifully. And corner off, that thing would not wiggle. You didn't see the back end move, and it came firing out of the corner each and every time. I was amazed at how you were able to put that together lap after lap after lap. And then ultimately, at the end of this race, did that lap traffic worry you at all, or were you comfortable enough with that much of an advantage you just had to hit your marks and bring home the checkered flag there at the end?
I was honestly pretty comfortable. There's a couple lap cars that put up a little bit of a challenge, especially when the tires wear. It's really hard to exit the corner with somebody above you. The back end just wants to step out. So there's a couple challenges getting around lap cars, and that's mostly when Jacob was catching me there. But fortunately, I had enough of a lead there where, I wasn't too worried about it, and I could kind of just take my time maneuvering around him.
Hey, thank you, Austin. And certainly last but not least, anyone you want to thank who helps you get it done on that Chevrolet Camaro before we cut you loose, let you go celebrate with your team.
Yeah, 100%. The team, Dynamic Autosports. Actually, shout out to all the guys. Unfortunately, Alan, got caught up in something early, but I had a great race. I think he came out P4, and Jake, he started the back of the field, but he worked his way all the way up to P6. So, shout out to the team, which is coming into today with such a great setup. Half of it is just having that good setup. And then as always, shout out to my family, shout out to everybody in the league, and thank you guys up there for all your broadcasts.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. The nighttime was the right time for Austin Fitzgerald to put down a legendary performance in primetime. The Las Vegas man had the plan. In fact, he went full-blown high-stakes mode and didn't miss a beat with one of the most dominating performances I've seen in Richmond from quite some time. The driver of the 74 ZL1 Chevrolet Camaro, your winner, Austin Fitzgerald. Thank you so much for joining us up here in the Ghost Racing Network broadcast booth.
Hey, thank you, Matt.
Appreciate your time, buddy. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Another one wrapped up here in the books on Ghost Racing Network. You heard from our top 3 finishers, and all around, what a class act these guys are. They put on such a great race here tonight. You know, these guys have such great situational awarenesses. The cautions that we did have out there on the racetrack, they could have really been a lot worse, but these drivers had their heads up. They were paying attention, able to make those moves quickly on the racetrack, and ultimately we got to see some great driving out there. You heard from our race winner, Austin Fitzgerald, Jacob Masso, Jeffrey Souza. What a drive from him. I mean, coming back way in the field. I mean, he started another county over as far as I'm concerned. Up 24 positions. Want to shout out here, Jake Hickson, 22 spots. He comes home just outside the top 5 and 6. With that being said, only one thing left to do here. So let's go over the final results here. And let's throw that up on the screen for you folks at home, if it will. Come on, work with me here. Thank you. And there we go. The final results are on the screen. As you heard from Austin Fitzgerald, he's going to get the win. Jacob Massau, Jeffrey Souza, that's the top 3. In 4th, Tyler Ippo in the 19 ride comes home 4th. Jeff Shutt comes home into the top in that final spot in the top 5. Jake Hickson rolls home 6th, while Thomas O'Hara comes home in that 8th place position. Residing 8th, Jeff Marble had a great run out there tonight in the 15 ride. Cody Matthews comes home 9th, while Kenneth Bartholomew, the rookie, gets himself the top 10. The 08 of Danny Gutierrez comes home in 11th, while Tyler Marble secures that 12th place position. The 7 of Christian Lawson was up front and fun to watch at times. Slid back a little at the end to reside in that 13th place position. Greg Bartlett in that 77 comes home 14th, while rounding out your top 15 is Clinton Clark, Brian Conklin, Ryan Haynes, G.T. Hawkins, who was up near the front at times as well, comes home just inside the top 20. There in that 18th place position. And let's roll it the rest of the way through here. There we go. In that 18th place position, Andrew Russo, Scott Glatzo, Glenn Grisby. That's your top 21. Brett Spade, 23rd. Coming home 24th in the 35 ride. That's Wes Hurd. Kyle Oakley in 24th. Rounding out your top 25. That's Alan. I don't want to butcher your name, so I'm just going to keep it at that in that 34 machine. Johnny Miskelwick in that 26th place position. Michael Mueller comes home 27th, residing 28th, Tracy Powers, and rounding out the 29 drivers who took the green flag here tonight in 29th place position, Jared Bundy. Again, folks, want to thank all the strategic partners, advertisers, everyone behind the scenes of FastTrack for the FastTrack Cup Series. Simply cannot be done without the hard work, dedication from all its sponsors, drivers, network admins, and everything that these guys do to collectively put on a great show each and every week. And it was an honor to be up here tonight, filling in for Austin Green, who should be back next week here in action. But once again, for Ghost Racing Network, I'm Matt Mettler up in the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth. And as we always used to end every show, ladies and gentlemen, as you go down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic, and we'll see you next time right here on GRN.